You're listening to the Real Longevity Podcast, your number one podcast resource for living a longer life. Here we discuss topics on personal fitness, longevity, and real lasting elevation of mind, body, and spirit. Join us as we build a community of healthy men and women enjoying lasting levels of real health and vitality. If you're currently feeling frustrated with pain, flat, or fed up with aging faster than you actually are, you're invited to join us each and every week here on the Real Longevity Podcast. Welcome to the Real Longevity family and get ready to live a life you truly love. Welcome back to the Real Longevity Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Hendricks, and today we have another insightful, uplifting, and educational show for you. I'd like to welcome all first-time listeners to the podcast, and be sure to stay right to the end of the show where I will be sharing all my social media links where you can join me as we continue to grow the Real Longevity Podcast community. Thank you. Appreciate you tuning in once again for what is a little bit of a different episode today, a bit of a short one, a bit more of an update and insight as to what has been going on with me over the last few weeks. So I first of all must apologize because of the, shall we say, inconsistency in the last few weeks regarding the show's production and the episodes being released and launched regularly as we said we would do. Now, the reason for that, as you know, I like to be fully transparent with my listeners, is that we've been going through personally some challenging times. I think it's key and important as my listeners, as my audience, people who we are in this community together with, to get a little bit of a background as to what's going on in the host life so you can put things into your own context and content and obviously extrapolate from that what you wish. But as I said, I think it's important to share with you what has been going on because my life is far from perfect. And as I've said many times on the Real Longevity podcast, I'm growing every day and every week and every month, just like you, the listeners. And I'd like to share when I make breakthroughs and when I make balls ups, if you like. Things don't go quite according to plan because, like everyone else listening, I am human. So, as I said, I just need to apologize. And the reason for the inconsistency, shall we say, over the last few weeks is that unfortunately we've had a loss in the family, and I recently lost my father. Now, you've heard me speak about my father before, as he struggled with dementia over the last few years, got increasingly more difficult and more challenging. And he was living in a care home for a period of time. But over the last 3 weeks, last month in March, he lost his battle and he made his transition over to the other side. So that has obviously caused some disruption because it was a bit of a shock. But as any of you listening know, when you come to losing a loved one, it takes it out of you. And I was quite honestly surprised how much it took out of myself. And it is still at times quite difficult, not being able to concentrate or focus or just feeling flat. These are all emotions that I'm now understanding that people who lose very close people in their lives go through. And it's quite normal. Now, I'm just here to share with you that if, like myself, you have or are going through any kind of difficult situation, which, if we're being honest with ourselves, life does on occasion throws difficult and challenging situations, whether it's to deal with our financial position, whether it's to do with our relationships, whether it's to do with our health. There's always some form of challenge that life will throw at us. But as I'm learning and as I always share with my listeners and yourself, it's how we use tools and our experience and our knowledge and ultimately our state of being to get through those difficult and challenging times that they when they come, how we deal with them, and how we get through them. So, over the last few weeks, as I said, it's been a very difficult time for myself and my family. But what I have noticed is some key things I'm going to share with you now, and key things that hopefully, if you are going through difficult situations, your state of mind, the way you frame things, your state of being will hopefully help you get through this. The first thing I notice is the importance of connection. Now, I was surprised once I started sharing the news how much people that maybe are not really frequent in your life, once they heard the news of Dad's passing, reached out and offered sincere condolences and well wishes for myself and the family. And that really reminded me of the sense of connection that's important, because even though I maybe hadn't heard from a lot of these people for a long period of time, the fact that they'd taken the time out to reach out and send well wishes and condolences made me feel a whole lot better. So keeping connected is very, very important. The second thing I learned over this challenging time is the power of movement, the power of exercise. Now, like with many people, I had a little bit of time out of work, both from the rehabilitation side of things and also with my own personal coaching, just to obviously give myself a bit of headspace. But in between that time, or during that time that I had off during work, I was out walking every day, a long time, maybe an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes, just getting out and moving my body. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're going through a little bit of stress or discomfort or something giving you a sense of upheaval, whether that's emotionally, spiritually, get out and move your body. I can't underscore that point enough because it really helped me just to put things in perspective, get out, be in the open space, being in and around nature really was therapeutic. So definitely moving your body, getting out in nature, getting out in the fresh air was definitely very, very helpful for me and is continuing to be helpful for me. As you know, that is something that I really enjoy doing, especially as getting to the lighter time of year. So getting out, being in nature, walking, moving the body is very, very important. It doesn't have to be anything strenuous. I didn't or haven't been doing any sort of heavy work in the gym. As you know, that's something I also like to do. I've just been out moving my body, doing some stretching, getting out in nature, walking. So that's something definitely helped. And then the third thing, which really links into the first thing in terms of connection, was about community and family. Now, anytime you lose a member, especially someone like a father figure in your family, it's very, very challenging, as I've now come to learn. But when you have people around you, brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, close friends, that sense of connection, but also community, people around you who are supporting you, even if it's coming around to making you a cup of tea or sending you a message and picking up the phone and checking in with you, is very, very powerful. So, community is something that we often talk about here on the Real Longevity Podcast, and something that we are creating with the Real Longevity Podcast listeners, just like yourself, is a sense of connection, but also a sense of community. People who you know when the chips are down, when things are difficult, when things are a little bit rough, you can lean on and they're going to help to prop you up and give you a bit of support, give you a bit of encouragement. And even if they don't offer you some sort of solution or fix a problem or the difficult time that you're going through, knowing that they're just there, that you can rely on them to lean on or to vent is very, very important. And that's what my family has done and my connections as well. So that community is very, very important. Now, again, if you don't have a community, I would encourage you to seek one. And this is something that we're doing here on the Real Longevity Podcast, creating a community. If you'd like to join a community, I'm going to leave all the links in the show notes where you can join us as we continue to grow, letting people know how they can enjoy longer, more stronger, healthier lives, pain-free, regardless of what age they are. So whether you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, or older, having that community, having people who are like-minded, same goals, same ambitions, same drives as you is very important. That's something that I've learned over the last few weeks as we've been going through this difficult time. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you today, guys. I said it was a bit of a different episode today, sharing with you what we've been going through over the last few weeks here in the Hendricks household. And like many people who've gone through a loss, who've gone through a difficult time, we have to remember this too will pass. This is not forever. It doesn't mean that you're going to have to forget the loved ones or the people that you may have lost, but it will pass. So I'm holding on to that and thinking about that even though I've not been feeling 100% recently, this is not a permanent state or we move through it. But remembering those three things, I hope you've found them helpful and insightful as I have. Connection, so people letting you know that they're there to help you, moving the body, doing some form of exercise, getting out in nature is very important. And that community, people around you that are supporting you, giving you love, keeping you held, keeping you safe, keeping you knowing that everything will ultimately be all right despite the current situation. So I hope you found today's episode insightful and uplifting. Let me know what you think. I'm going to leave all my connection details in the show notes where you connect with me, whether it's on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can find me on Facebook as Mike Bobby Hendricks and on LinkedIn as well. They'll be all in the show notes for you where you can connect with me and the Real Longevity podcast. Okay, that's it for today, folks. Until next time, remember, be well, be wise, be cool, be calm, and keep it here on the Real Longevity podcast. Blessings and chi. Peace.